Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Victoria Adams, Women's Wellness and Vitality Specialist, and today we're talking about something that can genuinely upgrade your intimate experiences. We're going deep on specific natural powders you can place directly on your tongue about 30 to 60 minutes before intimacy to support blood flow, arousal, and responsiveness. Used thoughtfully, these can help you feel confident, sensually alive, and fully present with your partner. Before we start, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss practical, evidence-based tools like this. Yes, the title is bold because timing and method really matter here. We're not talking about slow, month-long routines today. We're talking about targeted, on-the-day strategies you can deploy when it counts. The idea is simple: sublingual and oral mucosal absorption. When a fine powder sits on your tongue or under it, the active compounds contact richly vascular tissue and can enter your bloodstream faster than if they had to survive the digestive gauntlet first. That often means quicker onset and more predictable effects. Think of this as an acute support kit you can reach for when you want a beautiful evening to feel like a beautiful evening. Let's start with the most consistently useful option in this category: L-citrulline. L-citrulline is an amino acid your body converts to L-arginine, which is then used to generate nitric oxide, the tiny signaling molecule that tells smooth muscle and blood vessel walls to relax. When those vessels relax, blood flow improves, and in intimate tissue, that translates to enhanced sensitivity, easier arousal, and fuller engorgement of erectile tissue in the clitoris and surrounding areas. Why L-citrulline instead of L-arginine itself? Counterintuitive as it sounds, oral L-citrulline tends to raise blood L-arginine more reliably than L-arginine does because L-arginine is rapidly broken down in the gut and liver. L-citrulline bypasses much of that first-pass loss and converts gradually, producing a smoother and more sustained rise. Clinical studies have shown improvements in vascular function with L-citrulline, and endurance research repeatedly finds benefits for perceived fatigue and physical performance. For women, this translates to enhanced pelvic blood flow, which supports natural lubrication, clitoral sensitivity, and overall arousal capacity. How to use it for an on-demand effect? Place about 2 to 4 grams of pure L-citrulline powder on your tongue. Let it partially dissolve for 30 to 60 seconds, then swallow with water. The portion that dissolves can absorb through the mouth. The rest will absorb enterally. Take it 30 to 60 minutes before intimacy. Many women report easier arousal, enhanced sensitivity, better natural lubrication, and more sustained responsiveness throughout the experience. The taste is neutral to slightly bitter. You can follow with a sip of water or a splash of unsweetened juice if you prefer, but direct tongue contact is your fastest route. Quick note for those who prefer a clean food-based option: organic watermelon extract is naturally rich in L-citrulline and can be a gentler alternative for those who prefer whole food sources. Next up is beetroot powder. This one surprises people until they remember that athletes have been using beet juice for years. Beetroot is rich in dietary nitrates, which your body converts to nitric oxide through an oral to systemic pathway, distinct from the L-citrulline/L-arginine route. Using both routes together can offer additive support: one pathway from amino acids, one from nitrates. Beetroot has a robust research base for modestly lowering blood pressure, enhancing endothelial function, and improving exercise efficiency by reducing the oxygen cost of effort. In intimate function, that can translate into better pelvic blood flow, enhanced arousal response, and greater staying power for prolonged pleasure. For an acute effect, place about 1 to 2 tablespoons of high-quality beetroot powder on your tongue. Let it mingle briefly with saliva. Then swallow with water about 45 to 60 minutes before intimacy. Here's a pro tip most people miss: swish the beet powder slurry around your mouth for 20 to 30 seconds before swallowing. Friendly oral bacteria begin the nitrate to nitrite conversion right on your tongue, which primes the downstream production of nitric oxide. The taste is earthy sweet and very tolerable for most people. Expect onset a touch slower than L-citrulline, but with a synergistic feel when used together. Third in the lineup is maca root powder. Maca is a Peruvian root used traditionally for energy, fertility, and libido support. Modern studies suggest maca can increase sexual desire in both men and women, enhance perceived well-being, and support hormonal balance without dramatically altering serum hormone levels, which implies central brain and mitochondrial energy mechanisms may be at play. For women specifically, research has shown maca can help with desire, arousal, and even mood symptoms related to hormonal transitions. It's particularly beloved by women in perimenopause and menopause who notice a supportive effect on libido and overall vitality. Color varieties matter a little. Red maca is often favored for women for its hormonal balancing properties. Yellow maca is most common and still helpful. Black maca is typically discussed more for male fertility endpoints, but can benefit anyone seeking energy support. For an acute pre-intimacy use, place 1 to 2 teaspoons of maca powder on the tongue. Let it partially dissolve, then swallow with water or blend into a small, not too heavy smoothie. Aim for 60 to 90 minutes before intimacy. Maca is not as fast as L-citrulline, but it often layers on noticeable desire, mood elevation, and energy. A desire plus vitality effect many women appreciate, especially when combined with the vascular support of the other powders. Fourth, let's talk about shatavari powder. Shatavari is an Ayurvedic herb whose name literally translates to "she who possesses 100 husbands," a nod to its traditional use for female vitality and reproductive health. Modern research suggests shatavari supports hormonal balance, natural lubrication, and overall reproductive wellness. For women, shatavari can be particularly helpful for those experiencing vaginal dryness or reduced desire related to hormonal changes. It's considered adaptogenic, meaning it helps your body smooth out stress responses, which is crucial for intimate function, since stress is one of the biggest barriers to arousal for women. For sublingual use, place 1 to 2 teaspoons of shatavari powder under the tongue. Hold for 60 to 90 seconds, then swallow with water about an hour before intimacy. The taste is mildly sweet and earthy. Expect a gentle, supportive effect rather than a dramatic surge. Think of it as creating the internal conditions for receptivity and pleasure. Fifth, Tribulus terrestris powder. Tribulus has been used traditionally for enhancing libido in both sexes. Research in women has shown it can support desire, arousal, lubrication, and satisfaction, particularly in those experiencing low desire. The mechanism appears to involve support for androgen receptor sensitivity and possibly mild effects on free testosterone, which plays a role in female desire as well. For an acute approach, place about 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of tribulus powder on your tongue 30 to 60 minutes before intimacy. The taste is distinctly earthy and slightly bitter. Follow promptly with water or a small splash of juice. Effects, where noticed, tend to be modest but real, and they combine well with the nitric oxide-oriented ingredients like L-citrulline and beetroot. Now for those who want a simple, repeatable intimacy support stack that covers multiple mechanisms without being overcomplicated, here's a clean formula I recommend for occasional use. Mix 2 teaspoons of L-citrulline powder, 1 tablespoon of beetroot powder, and 1 teaspoon of maca powder. You can pre-blend a few servings and store them in a small, airtight container. About 45 to 60 minutes before intimacy, place the mixture on your tongue in 1 or 2 small portions. Let each sit for 30 to 60 seconds, then swallow with water. The beet's natural sweetness tempers the citrulline bitterness and the malty note from maca, so the flavor is quite workable. This 3-way stack supports immediate and sustained nitric oxide availability, vascular relaxation, mental and physical energy, and desire. The 4 pillars of intimate vitality. Most women describe the effect as noticeable but natural, which is exactly what we want. Timing matters. For L-citrulline, 30 to 60 minutes typically works well, with many feeling a peak between 60 and 90 minutes. For beetroot, allow 45 to 60 minutes to let the nitrate pathway activate. For maca, 60 to 90 minutes is a good window given its broader central effects. If you're stacking, aiming for the 45 to 60 minute mark before intimacy usually yields an overlapping peak. A few practical optimizers. Avoid a large, heavy meal right before you take these. A full stomach can blunt absorption and make you feel sluggish. A light meal a couple of hours prior is ideal. Hydrate well during the day and sip a glass of water when you take the powders. Vascular function loves hydration, and for women, hydration also supports natural lubrication. If you enjoy culinary experiments, a tiny pinch of black pepper in a mix can enhance absorption of certain phytonutrients via piperine. And a small amount of healthy fat, for example, a few nuts, can aid uptake of fat-friendly compounds, though do keep pre-intimacy meals light. Safety questions I hear often. For most healthy women, these powders are well tolerated at the doses discussed. If you have cardiovascular disease, take blood pressure medications, are on anticoagulants, are pregnant or nursing, or have chronic health conditions, talk to your clinician first. L-citrulline and beetroot can lower blood pressure modestly. That's typically beneficial, but in combination with antihypertensives could be too much for some. Start low, assess your personal response. Side effects are usually mild when they occur. L-citrulline can cause transient GI discomfort in sensitive people, especially at higher doses. Titrate up gradually. Beetroot may tint urine or stool pink-red, a harmless phenomenon called beeturia. Don't be surprised. Maca can feel a touch stimulating for some. Again, start with the low end of the range. A quick word on expectations. These are not magic wands, and they won't overcome seriously compromised vascular health, chronic stress, or relationship disconnection by themselves. They work best as accelerators, layered onto solid fundamentals. Regular movement, particularly activities that engage the pelvic floor. A diet rich in greens, beets, pomegranate, and healthy fats. Smart stress management. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. And, crucially for women, emotional safety and connection with your partner. Those pillars raise your baseline. The powders give you an extra nudge when you want it. Speaking of fundamentals, here's a simple weekly routine you can repeat to keep your system primed. Walk briskly or cycle for 30 minutes, 5 days a week to condition your endothelium and support pelvic blood flow. Add 2 full-body strength sessions to improve insulin sensitivity and hormonal balance. Include pelvic floor exercises, whether strengthening or relaxing depending on your needs, 3 to 4 times weekly. Eat a big salad with nitrate-rich greens and a side of roasted beets or a pomegranate bowl 3 to 4 days a week. Hydrate until your urine is pale straw. Keep alcohol modest as it impairs arousal and lubrication. Avoid smoking entirely. Nothing undermines vascular tissue like tobacco. If performance anxiety or body consciousness creeps in, use your breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Repeat 4 times. This dials down sympathetic tone and shifts your nervous system toward receptivity. During intimacy, stay present with sensation and partner connection, rather than running mental scorecards about your body or your response. Your nervous system routes blood based on threat versus safety. Pleasure thrives in safety. This is perhaps even more true for women than for men, as our arousal is deeply tied to feeling emotionally and physically safe. Let's translate all of this into a clean action plan you can try as soon as your next intimate evening. Step 1. Pick one powder to test solo. L-citrulline is the easiest starting point because it's well-studied and reliably noticeable for many women. Choose a reputable pure L-citrulline, not citrulline malate, for this purpose. On a light stomach, take 2 to 3 grams sublingually 45 minutes before intimacy. Note your experience: onset, sensitivity, lubrication, overall responsiveness. Step 2. After 2 or 3 trials, add beetroot on another night. Use 1 tablespoon sublingually 45 to 60 minutes prior, with or without the citrulline. Pay attention to how the combination feels versus citrulline alone. Step 3. On another night, layer in 1 teaspoon of maca 60 to 90 minutes before intimacy and see how mood, desire, and energy shift. Keep a simple notes app log so you're not guessing later. If you enjoy the trio, pre-mix the stack we discussed and keep 2 or 3 sachets ready. Most women find their personal sweet spot within a couple of attempts. The goal is not to chase maximal doses. It's to find the lowest effective amounts that give you a natural, confident, embodied experience. I want to add something here that I think is crucial for women specifically. Our arousal is not linear. Unlike the more straightforward physiological response that men often experience, women's arousal is deeply influenced by context, emotional state, stress levels, relationship quality, and even the time of month. These powders support the physiological foundation, the blood flow, the tissue responsiveness, the energy. But they cannot replace the equally important psychological and relational elements. If you're experiencing persistent low desire or arousal difficulties, I encourage you to also explore whether there are emotional, relational, or hormonal factors at play. Sometimes the body is simply reflecting what the heart and mind are experiencing. That said, when the emotional foundation is there and you simply want to enhance your physical responsiveness, these tools can be genuinely helpful. Many women report that supporting their vascular health creates a positive feedback loop. Better blood flow leads to better sensations, which leads to more positive associations with intimacy, which leads to more desire. It becomes self-reinforcing. To wrap up, remember the philosophy that underpins everything on this channel. Intimate vitality is vascular health plus nervous system ease plus emotional safety plus authentic connection. These powders support the first two. You and your partner create the third and fourth. When you align all four, intimate experiences feel memorable for the right reasons. The woman who cares for her circulation, who manages her stress, who cultivates safety in her relationships, and who approaches intimacy with presence rather than performance, she creates the conditions for profound pleasure and connection. If this breakdown helped, hit like, share it with a friend who could use a science-based approach to intimate wellness, and subscribe for more practical women's health guides. I'm Dr. Victoria Adams. Take care of your circulation, your sleep, your stress, and your relationships. Let these tools work with your biology, not against it. I'll see you in the next video.